Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show, final hour. My next guest, one of my favorite people in the world, regular on the show, hasn't been here in a while. Talking some hoops with the great John Salley. What's up, brother?
And I got a book today that I am looking at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It's a little note on the inside of it. If you can sit still or you can take time to write a book, you can get your fat back up and walk on a treadmill.
You're right. You're right. Do you know I've lost weight, though? I've lost 14 pounds.
Yeah, I saw your earlobes look much smaller.
Dude, come on.
In the picture.
You're the one. You promised me you're going to move to New York and get me in shape, and nothing happens.
Well, the Brooklyn Nets decided not to hire me to do color commentator,
which is ridiculous.
I heard it's 7 degrees. It was 87 today. I was hiking on Runyon.
Yeah, I know exactly. You're L.A., man. The New York's out of you. You don't want to. You don't want to be here.
Everybody here wants to be in shape, so it's easier to work them out.
You're right. It's easy. Everyone out there is like they're handing out tennis rackets. It's it's hard here.
But what you can do is get on the treadmill and walk for 45 minutes. Make sure somebody knows you're walking. There's a lot of toxins going to be coming out. I don't want you being in the gym and stuck under a treadmill.
In case I need paramedics.
Yeah. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, John. It's really enjoy the book, and I was happy that you wanted a copy. Enjoy it, and try not to do anything I did in that book.
I will.
But
I didn't want to come on 2 weeks ago because Dennis Rodman was in North Korea, and everybody was asking me to come on the air to speak about it, but no one was offering checks. And I said, they go, well, no, we don't pay the guests. I said, do you pay the host? Yeah. I said, I'll host.
Well, why give your old friend Artie a coup and come on? How dare you?
Oh, man, I would have come on, but...
No, but I was going to lead into that easily because I'm sure you're getting bombarded. But, I mean, just how crazy funny are those images of Dennis in North Korea? I mean...
I'm only going to say it because it's you.
Yeah.
And I told Sandra that I didn't want you to come on. I know last night wasn't cool, but I was like, yes, because I know I'm going to laugh about it. The funniest thing was, it was like a Saturday night skit.
It was.
He said, these 7 guys behind me. And all of a sudden, people like my brother started sliding to the left. And it was like I haven't seen black people move away from people like that since OJ.
Yeah, they were scared to death. The looks on their faces was worth it. It really.
But nothing's gonna happen to black people in North Korea, and if they did, you just send Jesse Jackson over. He went and got a whole bunch of white folks out of Kuwait in 1990.
You're right, he did. He knows how to talk to these people.
Yeah, he has a conversation. He speaks whatever language he speaks. He saved Bush's butt.
Yeah.
While President Bush was playing golf, he was over there saying, "Hey, man, let me have 3 of the white ladies, the old white man, and 3 of the kids." And they got on the plane.
No, he does. He has a special language, Jesse Jackson. It's not even like a black thing, a white thing, anything. It's his own language. It's like
his own language.
Yeah.
Until he says the wrong word that everybody can hear.
Right.
And then that's it.
He did Jackie Robinson's eulogy, and I swear to God, this is all I hear when I listen to that. I go, Jackie's head, Jackie, Jackie too, Jackie.
Hey, trust me.
Jackie.
I don't know what to say it either.
Now, but listen, you're right. He does have a knack for getting hostages back.
Yeah, and it's a trip because I told Dennis's manager. He asked me if I wanted to go. They had the price. The price was way too low.
I'm
for
sure
me to be known as a person that's getting in the way of American propaganda. I am not. This is the new guy they want to hate. Saddam was our last guy. I mean, Bin Laden. They had nobody else they want to kill. Now they got a new person they want to kill. And now we got to make movies about North Korea.
Exactly.
You're getting in the way, Dennis. You got a guy sitting there wearing your jersey, drinking a Coca-Cola, speaking perfect English. We Americans supposed to think this is a mean person.
Right. Exactly.
So,
right. We need a villain.
That's it. And so they think of the worst thing that could possibly happen. And they go, he killed his uncle.
And fed him to dogs.
I said to somebody, man, was it a bad uncle?
Yeah, it seemed like a bad uncle. He did seem like a bad guy.
The uncle that touched him when he was little and didn't think he was going to be in power? Do we know what the hell? Maybe he was that kind of uncle. We don't know.
So you're saying it could have been justified to kill him and feed him to dogs?
Hey, you know what? Street justice. That's what they have in North Korea. Street
exactly.
Justice.
You touch me as when I was a child, I feed you to dog. Ha ha! Joke on you now. You molest me, I feed you to Rottweiler. Joke on you.
I would add to that joke, but then I would be as guilty as to your Chinese voice.
I feed you to dog, and now I make friend with Dennis Rodman.
And I feed him dog.
Now, what are you happy Dennis is in rehab, though, I guess, right? I mean, obviously that had to happen.
I want to ask you, because I know you bypassed a couple of rehabs. Is that a place you go so the paparazzi doesn't find you? There's no house phone. You can smoke cigarettes whenever you feel. What the hell happens in that rehab for $30,000 a month?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be private, but I left a lot of rehabs early. But the last one that I went to was a great place called Ambrosia in Florida, outside of Miami, and I stayed there for almost 3 months. And they were actually really good about it. They kept stuff private, and they really helped me. It's a matter of what the person wants. If Dennis really wants to get better, he'll stick with it. If not, he'll skate out of there. I don't know.
What does he say his problem is? Alcohol?
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. It's booze. Yeah.
Well, we got a big thing Isaiah Thomas put together March 27th or 28th in Detroit. It's a 25th anniversary of the Bad Boys.
That's right.
30 should be coming out this spring or this summer. We shot it this summer.
Yeah.
It had to come out after David Stern retired because
right, exactly.
We changed the NBA, and I need him in Detroit March 28th or 27th. I don't need him not being there because it ain't going to be the same.
No, you can't have the Bad Boys without Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, I know he listens to you, so I'm going to say it loud enough. Maybe you can hear it over the tequila shot.
Hey, Dennis, Artie Lange show on. Let's do another shot.
But let me tell you something. Hey, I found out, they were doing all this history on America, and they found out that the first inhabitants in this country were the Spaniards.
Right.
Spaniards, and they came with their slaves. Well, the Spaniards hated it and left, got back on the boat and left the slaves. So the first people in America were really black people trying to wonder how do you get to Detroit?
You're right. And, you're right. That's the truth.
That's the truth. And so Dennis took 7 black guys who had some, like, they are in Korea right now making Korean Yao Mings. That's what I expected. I expected to come back with at least 3 paternity suits.
That's hilarious. That's a good point. In 18 years, there's going to be a bunch of number 1 draft picks who are half Korean and half Sleepy Floyd. Hey, Sleepy Floyd, impregnate my niece.
Hey, Vin Baker got an unbelievable fadeaway jump shot. If I see any Asian kid doing that shot, I'm gonna go, give me your blood. I know who your daddy is.
We make Yao Baker. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a good point. I never thought of that. They're gonna go out there and make the whole.
They're gonna make a whole bunch of Army guys that can jump over fences.
My buddy Joe Matarese had a great stand-up joke about Wilt Chamberlain saying, like, all the illegitimate daughters he probably had on the road. Where do you think the WNBA comes from? So let's talk. You know what? You talk about the Bad Boys. I want to ask you something. I saw a documentary about the Dream Team. Can you enlighten us a little bit about the feud between Jordan and Isaiah Thomas back then? Can you get into at all, like, exactly what happened and what caused that?
Well, what happened, I saw that too.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that it finally came out that they were wanting us to think that it was Michael, and then, I heard the rumor Michael said if Isaiah's on the team, I'm not going, and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, the deal was, the only thing that was Michael and Isaiah was when he was a rookie on the All-Star team. Isaiah was throwing the ball to all the veterans.
Right.
They wasn't going to let the the first time player in the what you call it, get all the shine.
Which makes sense, right?
Right. That's how it was. And then Isaiah was the man in Chicago, and then Michael Jordan, became the Chicago Bulls became something. Besides Red Diaz was there, and Wes Matthews and Adrian
Dantley.
Daly.
Adrian Daly. Yeah.
No, not Dantley.
The other guy. Quentin Daly. Quentin Daly.
Yeah. That was Chicago. And Isaiah was a star who went to Indiana, who got out of the hood, who went to the private school. He was like finding Forrester.
Right. He went to St. Joe's, right, Isaiah?
Yeah. He went to St. Joe's, and the next thing you know, he's in Indiana for a year, and then he goes pro because of his family, and then he becomes a star. So he's a star. Then Michael Jordan star in Chicago, but Isaiah's still walking around like this is my city too.
Yep.
So it's just that kind of stuff. It's nothing like I'm going to go in there and destroy your career like people were saying. That wasn't it. He was the guy keeping Michael Jordan going home watching the finals. So when he finally went into the finals, this was crazy. Dream Team 2 was November. Dream Team 1 was 92. We had already lost in the Eastern Conference Championships in 91.
Right.
So I think it was, and then when the Magic Bird story came in, he talked about how hard he was about Isaiah. But Isaiah, that year, and 2 years earlier, was the MVP of the NBA Finals. He was a two-time world champion, all-star every year of his career. That was the NBA saying, we want John Stockton, because it had nothing to do with Michael and all the rest of them. If you want to put the Dream Team together, they were trying to sell and market the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
1990, when we won our second championship, David Stern didn't give us our ring. His understudy did, because he had to be in China with Utah Jazz. So it was always about selling the NBA. That's what it's about, selling jerseys and recognition.
And was the Stockton thing a racial thing, John?
No.
No?
They had. Remember, they didn't take Shaquille. They took Lechner.
Right.
And not they had all these guys on it. They had to, not that they were going with color, but Stockton was a great player and did all the stuff. But Isaiah was, Isaiah.
Yeah.
But I look at it this way. They had enough stars. I remember Charles Barkley decided to become the mean guy and started doing mean stuff, because he said that was the only way of separating himself or becoming different in that squad. Plus, on that squad was Clyde Drexler, who was literally giving Michael Jordan the business from 1985 until 1991.
He was amazing.
Right. So, they had enough guys on it. I just thought it was a snub of Isaiah, but I don't think it came from Michael. And no matter what they say, I tell guys this all the time when they talk about Kobe got Shaq traded. Listen, you don't own the team. You're only a worker on the team.
Right.
You're property of the team. You don't really get to say that. Who do you want to play with? In 7 years, we're going to be like, we love for everything you did for us. We have a job for you in public relations. That's what they're going to do to you. So they need to stop acting like they are so important. They're not that important. They can be traded, and they look to trade them every time.
But in hindsight, when the Bulls finally beat you guys, and you guys were their obstacle that they couldn't get by, when they finally did beat you in the conference finals in '91, in hindsight, would you have walked off the way you did again? It was kind of a snub. Would you?
Okay, so me and Scott Hastings were the only guys who stayed and shook their head.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you did the right thing.
So that was a blessing for me, because I started working in TV that year, and I did it for inside stuff, and I was with Siskel and Ebert, and I got to be friends with, I just wasn't like that, because Michael has been my friend since 1981.
Right.
And when I was trying to do a late night television show out of Detroit, some little rinky dink thing, Michael was my guest. I went and picked him up. He was my guest. I brought him back to that's my dude.
So you did a lot of solids, and you're like, I'm gonna go, shake his hand.
Yeah, but I went back on the court, and Chuck was like, you can't get any more stats. I go, no, just something's going wrong here, and I don't want to be about it. But this is the one thing. They got the film that looked like Isaiah was running around. Isaiah was just moving off the court all smooth.
Uh-huh.
In 1988, we beat 1987. Yeah, I'm getting my years wrong. 1988.
Yeah.
We beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Final.
Right.
At the Silverdome. While Adrian Dantley is on the foul line, Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Chief, they all walk straight through.
Right.
Ref doesn't say anything. It's not a timeout. And Kevin McHale walks by Isaiah, and Isaiah looks at him, and he puts his hand up, and he gives him 5, and he goes, bring the trophy back to the East.
Oh, okay.
And walked off the court as if they weren't there. Everybody sat there and said, well, it was security reasons. No. Bill Lambert said to Isaiah, he said, let's give them the trophy on the East like the Celtics gave it to us.
Right.
And that's the honor. You guys are the last one on court. That they didn't. Larry Bird. I say it on the 30 for 30. I said, show that video. Show what we were thinking and why we were thinking that. Everybody else made it a snub. It wasn't a snub. And there's another thing. We're Americans. Number 2 don't count.
It's true. That's for, in the NBA, that's for sure.
No, that's in everything in America. Well, it used to be. Now everybody gets a trophy if they just show up. And if you say the wrong word. Somebody said, oh, my God, he said the N-word. I was offended. I said, you're Irish. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, this place is, the world is so sensitive to the point, but being number 1 is not the most important thing like it used to be.
Right.
That's why we're number 27 and everything else in the world. But
You're right. It's
number 1.
Competition's not what it was. I agree with you. Those were great times for the NBA when you guys were, the bad boys around and the emergence of, Jordan's era and Bird and Magic. That's the NBA when I loved it still. I love watching the NBA channel to check out those highlights. They're the best.
Yeah, let me tell you. And the reason was David Stern in 1984, same year as Michael Jordan came in. David Stern made the NBA what it is today. And guys can say what they want to say, and I can go back and forth. Without David Stern, the NBA might not be even in a position, nowhere close. He turned it into something that can be seen around the world and revered. He got rid of a lot of dope addicts, a lot of them. He literally was like, you got to go. It's what baseball wants to do, but I felt they did it wrong by trying to use public embarrassment. That's not the way it is.
That's a good point.
Since you're in New York.
That's a good point.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
I'm an A-Rod fan.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that. And because I was an athlete, and I watched that thing on 60 Minutes when they put a lying, cheating criminal up there to say some things.
Right.
To say some things. I think, well, he didn't agree to interview with us. I thought that was wrong, that they went and got a guy who admittedly lied earlier, and they gave him a spotlight like he was important. And this is the other thing. I believe A-Rod. Everyone says, you got to be crazy. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. This time he didn't know he was getting, when he did it before early, the thing that threw me when the guy said, A-Rod didn't start doing steroids until after he hit his 600 home run. That's when I knew the dude was lying.
Right. No,
so if you already hit 600, you ain't got to worry about it.
That guy. I mean, you make a great point there. That guy's credibility is not exactly through the roof. Who knows? It's the crazy times here in New York, and A-Rod's got a lot of time to think about it. But switching gears to modern day here, hoops. Derrick Rose's future. What do you think that's about? I feel terrible for the guy. I mean, what do you think's going to happen with him?
Well, last year my friend retired after breaking his ankle so many times in so many ways, and we sat there and watched him and couldn't believe he was trying to make a comeback and working on it. I think the best thing about Derrick Rose is he gets to sit and watch basketball for probably the first time in his life. Remember, this was a child phenom in high school, elementary school, high school, 1 year in college, straight into the pros, Rookie of the Year. He's the next thing in the competition against LeBron on the East. It's a lot of stress to put on somebody below 25 years old.
Well, he's the face of the league, I mean, practically.
Yeah. I mean, and then now that he gets to sit, and the NBA found another way to go about putting up these, how they build you up and break you down, but they build them up. He can now, and he learned. I heard him on an interview saying, the stress I had from my ankle blew my knee out. The fact that I let that heal, and I was putting everything trying not to use it because my brain's still probably not feeling it till he put too much stress on the other one. The cool thing is He'll build them both up, and he'll know exactly how to use them. Adrian Peterson is the best example. Once your brain tells you can do it and your leg responds to it, it does. It's if your brain says to do it and the leg doesn't respond, then the leg is bad.
Right.
But I think Derrick Rose definitely will make a complete comeback.
And I hope so.
He should. I mean, it's a meniscus.
I'm just saying mentally, like, to have those 2-year-ending injuries in a row.
Well, that's the thing. This second one is not a year-ending injury. That's what I'm saying.
Well, John just made a good point, too, about the pressure. Look, he accepted it, but the pressure, like the commercials, he really became the face of the league besides LeBron. Yeah. And it is a lot of pressure. He's a young kid, But
that is the emblem. That bull emblem is the emblem known as the NBA.
Yeah.
But this is the trip about his leg being at that point. Not only does it, he gets to humble him. He gets to sit back, and now you get to see everybody in your entourage differently.
Right.
You get to see your family differently. You get to see your girlfriend differently because you're not playing.
It's true.
The times you don't pay attention to it. Now, it's a perfect time for him to purge. And they ain't going to say nothing. Man, he changed. Yeah. You get smarter. You're supposed to change. And I think it's going to change for the better. That's not a bond rep. I know it sounded like one, but it's not.
Yes. I know bong rip from Dennis.
Imagine if there's a video of Dennis and Emperor getting high. I would lose my mind.
That's the reason the internet was invented, if that video is around. That's the reason YouTube was invented. Real quick, who can beat Miami? Everyone says Indiana's the best team. No one's the best team until someone beats Miami.
Indiana's losing by 19 to Phoenix.
I see that. Well, who can someone beat Miami? Is Indiana going to do it, or is it going to have 3 in a row for Miami?
I want LeBron to win 6 championships.
Okay.
So he can show everybody his ring finger.
Listen, I don't know. I mean, they're getting old, but that could happen until they turn it on when they need to. That's what champions do. The Pacers could have the greatest record now, blah, blah, blah. Until someone beats them in June, the Heat, they're the best team.
Here's the thing, though.
No, the Pacers look great, though.
Yeah, they do.
Well, not tonight.
They
do. They're down by 20 now.
It's early.
No, it's the third. It's the third quarter.
In Phoenix? Are they playing in Phoenix?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You go out on Tuesday night in Phoenix, man. All of a sudden, Wednesday night doesn't seem like any fun.
Yeah.
And see, you got to understand too the way a lot of guys look at it. I'm not saying it's the way to look at it, but the way a lot of guys look at it is each month is 15 games. If you can win 9 or 10 games every month, out of 6 months, you got a 60-win season.
Yeah. That's almost how you got to break it down because it's so long. Psychologically, you got to approach it somehow. Yeah.
Right. You're not going to win every game.
Right.
And there's going to be days the guys and a good coach like Doc Rivers, he's an ex-player. Ty Lue sitting next to him, he's an ex-player. Gentry is, and just talking about the Clippers for a second, he can look and tell when his guys are tired and not tired, when it's time to talk to him, when it's time to pull him. When a guy he gets a timeout and he's pissed off, he walks way around them so they don't have to look at him. He don't have to look at them. Let him sit down and think about it. It's different things that happen. Plus, injury after the All-Star game can determine who wins the championship.
Yeah. Well, listen, I agree.
You start betting, bet on the team that's healthiest in May.
I agree.
That's not going to be the Heat, though, because Dwayne Wade's he sat out the second game of the year for precautionary.
Yeah, I'm telling you though,
issues.
they turn it on. It's Doc Rivers is my favorite too. I love that guy. I want to see him get another ring. We got to go. Thanks, brother. Come in live.
When I come in, I will come on by and check you out. I love you, man.
Please, John. All right, love you too, buddy. The great John Salley.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.